Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shenanigans. So here you are. Rob's in an alleyway, getting dressed again. Zen is in bed, but every time you turn, every time you shift slightly, the floors beneath you go.
Does my window open onto the back of the bar?
No, you have the room across from Rob's room, so your window opens out just like into street. It's like a 10-foot drop from your window. Well, from the window sill, it's probably like a 14-foot drop, 13-foot drop. Indeed. Rob, where do you go? Do you keep going to the Red Rooster, or do you head back to Shenanigans? Zen, what are you doing?
I'm going to head down towards Shenanigans. Then I'm going to, let me see what my total skills are. Then I'm going to dart down an alley and try to quickly climb the wall.
Which wall?
Well, like find a shadowy place in the wall in the alley, get up onto the roof, and hide in shadows and everything.
Like, sorry, I might have missed something here. Is this just like anywhere in that same alley, or are you like particularly trying to
No,
be near?
I'm gonna walk back to Shenanigans.
Okay. The Shenanigans alley.
Then dart down a random alley, and basically try to lose anybody who might be watching me.
Okay. All right. You dart down this alleyway. Your dog comes along with you. You climb up on a wall. What do you do with Figaro while you're on the wall?
I say, that's one. I say stay.
He stays at the base of the wall.
Okay. I'm gonna climb up and then try from my vantage point, try to watch if anybody comes looking for me. But from up above, where hopefully they won't see me.
Right.
And I'm hiding.
How long do you plan on spending doing this task? Like, will you do this all night long, or are you just like here for 10 minutes to check it out?
I think I'm gonna try for 10 minutes.
Okay.
If someone was gonna follow me, they're gonna peek around within 10 minutes.
Right. But the 10 minutes pass, the alleys remain empty.
And Figaro doesn't act like he smelled anything invisible that's coming or anything.
Right. While you're thinking about this, Zen, are you just trying to sleep? You can make me a willpower check to try and like ignore all the sound and just go to bed.
Yeah. Where's my willpower?
'Cause you can't get new spells if you don't get a full night's rest of sleep.
Sleep on the ground outside.
I was thinking of flying up to the roof, going invisible, and falling asleep there. But oh yeah.
All right.
I just can't
Sleep
go.
on the haystack.
Zen just focuses on sleep, pushes the sounds away, and passes out.
Honestly, he probably just gets drunk enough to pass out.
Not very good sleep. There should be some rule about if you pass out because you're too drunk, then you can't memorize spells in the morning. There should be a rule about that, but there's not, so you can do it this time. But if this
Flavor
were a
text,
real
Neal.
world...
It's flavor text.
It's flavor text.
Well,
All right,
no, I
Rob.
could just cast metamorphose liquids and then turn all the alcohol in his system into blood.
But then he wouldn't be passing out from the alcohol.
I was thinking when he woke up in the morning.
No, but he still wouldn't have gotten a proper night's sleep the night before. He would not have been rested. He would have had a poor night's sleep.
Well, before he goes to sleep.
Well, then he wouldn't be able to pass out because he wouldn't be drunk. It's a catch-22. You can't have it both ways. But that's a problem for another day. That's not the focus of today's episode of Shenanigans, is whether or not to memorize spells when you're drunk. Carlo, no one's following you in this alleyway. It's just you and Figaro.
I guess I'll climb back down, and I'll take Figaro with me, and we'll go. I'll try to find a place where I can watch the Wizard Academy here, to see if any prankster tries to sneak back in.
All right. You go and hang out at the Wizard Academy for the rest of the night then, kind of keeping an eye on it, see what's going on there. And eventually the sun rises. You did see somebody leave the academy late at night, but it definitely looked a lot closer to like the young girl sneaking out of the academy to like go rendezvous with someone. You know, she's got like the heavy cloak on her to keep her warm, but at the same time you can see like it flutters up and you can see here she's like wearing glitter. Sure. Wearing,
Literally.
yeah, you know, she's peacocked up a little bit, wearing like, you know, not quite heels, not quite flats, but somewhere in between. She's clearly like going out for the night, but she's like sneaking out of the academy to do so.
Something she can dance in.
Exactly. But now it's the next morning. Carlo hasn't slept well. Actually, Carlo hasn't slept at all. Zen has gotten to sleep. You guys come back together at Shenanigans.
Actually, I'm gonna go sleep now.
All right, you go to sleep. Zen, the floors aren't squeaking in the morning. It's over with, or it's been undone, or something. Carlo goes upstairs to sleep. Zen comes downstairs after memorizing whatever spells he's memorized. And
I'll get those to you.
Into the tavern walks a very pissed off Desmond. He looks around the room and goes, where is that Carl? Zen! There you are! Get over here.
Yes.
So, whoever this
Desmond.
this prankster is decided to pay me a little visit last night. You know? I got a...
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Got a stinking
You made me
cloud.
impotent. That was what happened. It was a prankster.
I got a stinking cloud cast into my house in the middle of the night. You know what it's like to wake up to the smell of rotting eggs? Our cat puked on the bed. It's disgusting. And then, when I tried to come outside, there is a web spell all over my front yard. Thank God I have a flaming sword, but then all my plants caught fire. Look, whoever this is, they need to be stopped.
I've memorized detect magics to try to see if I can find any invisible people.
This is a personal matter here. This isn't business anymore. This is personal. You put an end to this guy, you and I will have an understanding of some kind. We'll sort it out later.
I'll be trying my best, Desmond.
Right.
But unless he's, decides to show himself, there's not much I can do unless I detect him walking around invisible. So I'll try.
He grumbles. And now it's you. Zen, it's all you. Carlo's asleep. He'll be asleep for 8 hours. You have the whole morning and half of the afternoon to yourself. What's your plan?
Wait for something to go wrong. In the second I notice it, cast Detect Magic and start looking for anyone invisible.
Alright, so you just hang out in the bar.
This time looking very suspicious at everything.
Okay. Alright. Why don't you give me a perception check?
By the way, I want to point out... Oh, God.
Beautiful, yeah?
I want to point out that technically I get like a saving throw or something to detect anyone invisible.
Because you have high enough intelligence?
You only require like 13, so
right,
yeah.
Right. No worries, no worries. So you're waiting for something to go amiss. Someone opens the door, Shenanigans, walks out, and then immediately falls flat on their face with a "What the son of a!"
Detect
and a grumble.
magic?
All right, you pop out there, cast a detect magic spell, and sure enough, there's a piece of rope that you didn't even notice when you were standing in the doorway. That's just kind of laying across the front of the door, and is radiating magic.
Immediately look around. Is there anything or anyone else radiating magic?
It's a busy street. There's people all over the place. The market is just like half a block to your right. There's tons of people in the street. There's carts going by. It's
Right, but radiating magic.
Oh, people radiating magic. No, but detect magic also wouldn't pull out a spellcaster from a crowd.
Right, but if they were invisible.
Detect magic will not detect invisible people.
Does it not detect active spell effects of invisibility?
Detect magic does not detect invisible people. Otherwise, invisibility would be like really easily detected. It specifically says in the invisibility spell that detect magic won't find you.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah. That'd be like the greatest. I mean, detect invisibility is a second level spell. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I don't have it. Wait, do I? Nope. No. Alright.
The guy gets up off of the ground, starts to dust himself off, and goes, "What the hell was that?"
It's some magic rope that'll be invisible until it trips somebody.
Stupid. Son of a... Grumbles to himself for a little while, picks himself off, and heads out.
Alright.
What do you do with the rope?
Is it still just there? Magic?
It's just hanging out right there.
Is it still radiating magic?
Yep.
I
Grab
the
it
rope.
and you can use it to trip people who try to sneak into our rooms.
All right. You pick up the rope.
Yes. Does it immediately lose its magical ability?
It continues to radiate magic.
Alright. Oh,
Hold on,
to
wait.
be honest.
The enchanted object is 80% undetectable unless a means that detects magical traps is employed. Is there a specific detect trap spell? Maybe you shouldn't be able to find it. There is a find trap spell. Maybe the detect magic shouldn't have picked this up. Anyway, you did. We'll just say you passed that 80% check. But I think probably detect magic shouldn't have found this either.
Be reasonable since it's a magic trap, whereas detect traps detects not just magic traps, but also...
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. I like the way you think.
Alright.
So eventually I wake up, I guess, unless...
Oh yeah, hold on. I mean, Zen's still got this magic rope.
Okay.
What are you doing with this magic rope, man?
Well,
Magic
do I
rope,
at least
man.
know of the spell to know kind of what it does? Other than, you know...
I don't think you. This is a. Yeah, I don't think you know anything about the spell effect. You are a wizard. This is not a spell that you know of yourself. Maybe there's someone out there that can tell you something about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up to you to figure this out.
I just take the rope and head to the Wizard Academy.
Okay. You find yourself at the base, the bottom of the Wizard Academy tower. And there is a receptionist there. The receptionist is a gnome who looks happily at you and says, "Welcome, welcome, friend."
Hey,
That's all the gnome says?
I'm pretty sure I would know who this was, and actually was like a fresh.
This is a brand new
graduate.
receptionist. You do recall there were problems with the old receptionist. He was kind of old and a little bit spotty. This looks like the replacement.
But that's all the gnome says. Welcome.
The gnome will rhyme in his next sentence with the first one. Just be chill, man. Be chill, okay? I know how... Welcome, friend.
Hey, alright. So, somebody's been playing a whole lot of pranks all around Shenanigans. There's been the entirety of the bar, or at least the second floor and the stairs, have been squeaking. There's been somebody wizard locking the outhouse.
Seems like there's a problem you would like to mend. Have you come here seeking advice? Do you have problem with your mice? Or is it a problem of lice?
Is there a wizard I can speak to? The headmaster?
The headmaster is quite busy.
Or just
and does not like to be
professors?
sent into a tizzy. But we could send you off to a professor or two. Is this a place you've been before? Have you...
Yes, I graduated from here.
Oh, lovely. Is there a specific professor you'd like to speak to? One with whom you've had some glue?
Now, Neal, would I know of anyone that is aware of the, like, a lot of the priest spells?
I don't know. Make up a class title that you would have had, that you would have had to take at the Wizard Academy. A reasonable one.
Magical beasts and where to find them.
Terrible class title.
Intelligent and divine spells and how to tell the difference.
Arcane and divine spells, maybe?
Yeah, arcane spells.
Ah, okay. Yes, you have your the difference between the arcane and the divine. Why the arcane is better class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and who is the
probably hit
teacher
the bar.
of this class?
I don't know, Neal. I don't name things.
Oh, you gotta name this one.
I named this character Zen.
Well, that's fine. But what is the professor's name for the difference between the arcane and the divine? The difference and why the arcane is better. Well, I need my
No,
little...
Neal, you're gonna regret it. His name is Bob.
Bob, love it. Okay, hold on. I gotta make a note of this in my official Shenanigans notebook. Where is it?
All right.
You know what? I don't remember which of these notebooks is my official Shenanigans notebook.
Not every wizard has to have, some spectacular name, Neal.
I'm all on board with Wizard Bob.
All right.
Professor Bob. All right. The gnome directs you to floor 4, room 3, where you can find Professor Bob. He currently has office hours. The door is wide open. There's a couple of students sitting outside in some chairs, like on the next room over, waiting to go into the counselor's office, who you remember is Mrs. Crabsworth. She's the school counselor here. And there's Professor Bob. How long has it been since Zen's been at the academy?
I mean, he was like fresh out, like when I started playing Shenanigans. Just fresh out of Wizard Academy, just a drunkard.
So it's been like 9 months.
Yeah, so it's somewhere around there.
So Professor Bob sees Zen standing in the hallway and goes, "Ah, my old pupil returned to me. What can I do for you?"
Well, somebody's pranking shenanigans with, as far as I can tell, a combination of wizard and priest spells. So it needs to be resolved because Desmond has so far waken up to a stinking cloud, had webs in his front yard, the entire second story of Shenanigans made horrific squeaks every time somebody walked on it. There was somebody who wizard locked the outhouse.
Oh god.
I was inside the outhouse.
Oh, thank God they didn't knock it
Really
over.
an issue.
I guess that doesn't matter because there's actually a hole underground, so knocking out the building wouldn't make a difference like a porta potty. But still, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
They could have cast some sort of explosive spell down in the latrine itself, causing a backflow. How dangerous that could have been. Well, no self-respecting wizard would ever be caught casting divine spells. Ridiculous. We draw our power, as you well know, from the very fabric of reality. It's not gifted by some divine being. We wizards are a mighty bunch. Have you...
Yes, we survive on our own power, not somebody else's.
Yes. Have you considered the possibility that it is two people working together?
Yeah, definitely could be two people.
I mean...
That means... But I try to have a little more faith in the world, and there being two people that are just out there pranking.
That's true. What sort of self-respecting wizard would work with a cleric to lock people in bathrooms? My god. How long did the bathroom lock last? Minutes or hours?
It seemed to have been permanent. Desmond sent for somebody from the wizard, from here. And but I just wait
definitely
for
a wizard lock. Aldrich's discriminating door takes too long to cast and needs a construction of the new door. That'd be difficult to do while you're in it. Must have been a wizard lock spell. And what were the other ones again? Floors that squeak?
Floors that squeak. Somebody had a rope that was invisible. I show them the rope in front of the door to trip people, leading out of Shenanigans.
Squeaking floors.
Somebody
And-
friskied a chest.
Well, frisky chest and squeaking floors are definitely cleric spells. He says with a bit of a sneer. The magical rope is something notably used by druids and woodsmen types. Also in the cleric realm. Have there been any other... It sounds like 3 cleric spells and a wizard spell. Perhaps there's a cleric version of wizard lock that I'm...
Hold on, remember, stinking cloud web.
Most definitely wizard spells. Who could do both? They must be...
Half elf racially. We're getting into racial profiling now.
Well, yes. If they were training both simultaneously, a half-elf has the mental capacity and the lack of focus and willpower needed to devote themselves solely to the arcane arts. They could multi-class like that. How gross. Or it could be a human who once trained as a cleric and then found themselves wanting more and retrained as a wizard, but they would have to be quite devoted to their gods still. Remain their cleric spells. Or a former wizard who gave up the life to become a cleric, but who would do such a thing? I can't imagine any wizard giving that up.
Fool, clearly.
Well, what sort of advice could I give you here?
Now, how would I catch such a devious person? Do you have any thoughts?
To catch a thief, one must lay a clever trap.
That is true. Don't have very many traps.
I don't mean like a foot snare. I mean an elaborate
spells.
trap. You need to lure the would-be prankster into a situation that is too tempting to pass up. And then, when they go for it, release the trap. You'll need to find a way to... something that is tempting, and they must know of it, so you must spread the word far and wide. I don't know what sort of trap you might lay, but it needs to be tempting, and they need to be able to know that it's there, and they can't know it's a trap. Unless you let them know it's a trap, but really the trap is for them trying to counter the trap. Or you could let them know that there was a trap within a trap, and they try and counter the second trap, but secretly you have a third trap laid on top of it. Or you could have a fourth trap and let them know about the first three traps. You could go down a very deep rabbit hole here, Zen.
Yes.
It would really help if you had someone to plan this with. These things are difficult to pull off alone. You might need a team of professionals.
I have a... Carl?
Carl? Is that the name
Carl.
of some sort of weapon? Is it an
No.
intelligent dagger?
No, it's a dude.
Ah.
But, alright. Set a trap for the trapper.
Gives a shrug.
Thank you, Professor.
Of course, of course.
How
Good luck.
have you been?
How have I been?
Yes.
Not much has changed in 9 months, let me tell you that.
No, I suppose not.
Yes. And the more they
It's only
change, the
been-
more they stay the same.
It's only been 9 months, my word.
Yes, yes. Well, I
much
must
has
be off. I
happened.
have tests to grade.
Ah, yes. Well, give the, new students a good reaming.
He nods and waves goodbye.
Alright. Alright, well, I'll just wait for Rob to wake up.
All right. The party reconvenes in the afternoon in Shenanigans. Arlo wakes up refreshed, but sort of groggy because he slept all day in the middle of the day.
Right?
Internal clock is off.
I don't know what you're talking about, Neal. I sleep till 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. every day.
Yeah, I used to sleep till 1 p.m. too, but you don't get as good of a sleep when you're not sleeping at night.
You'd think that, but I have like my room completely blocked off from light, so
Just saying.
makes no difference.
Just saying. It matters. In game, it doesn't matter, but you're always more refreshed when you sleep at night and you're waking during the day rather than sleeping in during the day. But that's neither here nor there.
You're saying the sunshine makes the difference?
Let's not go down this rabbit hole right now either.
You're
No.
saying white light matters.
I'm saying internal body clocks matter.
Alright. So,
All right, Carlo, you're
What's
awake.
up?
Do you tell me about your conversation with the professor?
yep.
And I tell you about the thing with the alley. See,
Oh,
this
God.
is where the gritty reboots, the limits of them. If this was any other character, then the clear way forward would be to pose as producers for the new play in Wicthron Renta, the new show in Wicthron Renta, Drekas's best pranks, and put out that we were recruiting pranksters to show off their best pranks and things like that. Maybe make illusions of their pranks to show them to a wide audience. And which of these pranksters be able to resist? But no, I gotta think in a gritty way.
Hmm. So far, I haven't really thought of a way to entice somebody into a situation. The best way I can think is try to catch them in a room and then hold the door somehow.
We could point out to the academy that the town looks very badly on pranksters. Why I hear that casting a continual darkness spell will bring out the town against you. It's some sort of felony. And the Wit wouldn't want to, or the academy wouldn't want to, have a reputation be tied into that. And they would probably want to work to stop that from, having the negative associations with them.
Well, perhaps.
Is your suggestion to have the academy solve your problem for you? Because that's not going to work.
Yes, I know that that's not going to work, although it makes the most sense.
Well, I mean, it also makes the most sense for you to make your money by not risking your life and instead having a more well-paying job. Let's be honest here. We're not here to take the easy way out. That's not the objective of the game.
I mean, if I'd been the one going in and they said the headmaster wouldn't see me, I would have been like, oh, he must be busy consulting with his lawyers to get ready for all the lawsuits against the academy that are going to happen because of the pranking.
Dude, I mean, you be you, man, but you can't have NPCs solve your problems for you. Otherwise, it's like, then they would be game over right now. You'd be like, let the academy deal with it. All right, everyone, that was Shenanigans.
Wait a minute. I just had a thought, Sen.
God, no.
We're here at Shenanigans. We should let NPCs solve our problems for us. How much gold do you have?
I don't want to spend my money. Yes.
All right. Well, it seems like people in Shenanigans get hired for ridiculously low fees. So I'll stand up and say, I'm looking for a group of adventurers to thwart this prankster. 10 gold if you can stop the prankster.
All right, guys, that's been today's episode of Shenanigans. The party has hired someone else to solve their problems for it. We're now going to start a new episode of Shenanigans where we play the people that the party has hired to solve the problems for them. So we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to be playing those people.
No, Neal. No, Neal. All right, you know what my plan is? I'm gonna
having
go
those people hire new people until everyone in the entire village of Berkshire has been hired to stop these people, but then they just keep hiring other people to do it, so the 10 gold just keeps passing around in a circle.
No, Neal, I am going to go buy a big bag of flour.
A sack of flour.
I was thinking about that, but then wondering if that would just end up with an angry Desmond.
All right, you can go and get yourself a big sack of flour. A second here. Oops. All right, how much a 50-pound bag of flour in the real world costs like $550. So you're going a big, huge sack of flour. It's probably about 50 pounds. $550 is 550 copper, but modern processing techniques make flour way freaking cheaper than it ever was back in olden times. So I'm going to increase the price 5-fold. So it's going to be 2,500 copper for a 50-pound bag of flour.
All right.
Yeah,
Really? Because that's
Yeah.
just sort of like baseline.
Do you think baseline
product for
food?
medieval
I don't
economy.
know. I feel like if the price of flour hasn't changed from medieval times to modern times, where we've got like mass production and milling techniques that, take the human labor out of it, I feel like flour's got to be way cheaper nowadays than it used to be. It's in like everything. We make a lot of floured goods. We eat a lot less like fresh fruits and vegetables than we used to.
Yeah, but it was fairly common since everybody was a farmer.
Still, I think the
90%
price of
of
flour
everybody
has
is farmer.
gone down since medieval times, if you account for like inflation and all that jazz. Don't you think? I would expect
Well,
the
yeah,
price of
but
flour
with
to
the
have
economy,
dropped.
they would have been poor, so prices could not have been high.
Next time on Economic Flower Traders. All right, so 25 gold for a 50-pound sack of flour.
Like if you went to some poor village in Namibia, they're not all like, "Oh, I need $50 for a bag of flour."
That is true. Flour might stay relative. Oh, well, hold on. I'm also finding sacks of flour, 25-pound sacks of flour for like $7. So I don't know why this sack of flour is $550 for 50 pounds, which, some simple math.
Neal, what kind of...
That's $11 a pound. That is a ridiculous price for flour. Who's selling a 550-pound sack of flour for $550? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, if you like go into the cake aisle or the baking aisle at the store, you're not going to pay anything like that.
Yeah, why the hell is this package so expensive on my first Google search? Sold in a 50-pound bag. What? Maybe that's 50 50-pound sacks are $550. That's totally what it is. It's 50. Okay, so a 50-pound sack is 1080 times 5. It would be let's just call it 55. So 55 copper for a 50-pound sack. There we go. Our prices are much better.
Like half a gold?
Yeah, 55 copper for a 50-pound sack of flour.
Okay. Okay, Neal.
That seems fair.
Yes. I was gonna say like 25 gold. What?
Are we having this conversation in game, or are we back?
Yeah, we're back in game.
Oh, okay.
The guy first tries to sell you a 50-pound sack of flour for 2,500 gold copper. And you're like, really? And he's like, well, I mean, that's 50-pound sacks if you need the blah, 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 blah. And you get it sorted out. He thought you were trying to buy in bulk for an entire castle, when in reality, you were just trying to buy one sack.
All right.
All right, sort it out.
All right. So now I just have a giant sack of flour. I think I just have it on like the pull cart behind me, and I'm occasionally just, bringing it back to Shenanigans, reaching into it, and just tossing those sprits everywhere.
Just like flowering along the way.
Yes.
Okay. You do not find any invisible creatures walking down the street into your like parade of flour. Although you do definitely get a few people who are like, "What the hell are you?" Never mind. I probably shouldn't get involved in this. But you get some unhappy people looking at you as you flour the road.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Anyway, the party is back in
At
Shenanigans.
least people are finally looking at me.
Oh, poor Zen. You guys find yourself back in Shenanigans.
All right.
Well, like I said, I'm hiring some adventurers. I think I'm going to hire, in order to avoid having to do my own work, subcontract my own work to myself. I'm looking around and I say, adventurers. I need adventurers like Karos over there. Karos the barbarian. You need work, right? And Claws. Claws, the monk with the metal claws. You too. You must find work You must need to support yourself. What about Ashy? Ashy, will you step up to the challenge?
Slowly but surely, you get a couple of people who are interested in the job. They want to know what it entails, though. What are you?
Well, I don't know.
What do you need done, boss?
That's not what any of them said at all.
What did they say, Rob?
Charos the Barbarian has said that he is ready.
No, Charos the Barbarian does not say he's ready. He asks you what the job is. I'm putting my foot down. You do not get to play Dungeons and Twitch chat. It's not going to happen. I know where that goes, and in half an hour, there's going to be dicks on everything. No one's going to be wearing clothes, and we'll just have to turn off the stream.
So, how is that different from the rest of the internet?
I try to hold myself to a higher standard than the general internet as a whole, which is like the bottom of the barrel cultural and,
We did a successful game of Dungeons and Dragons in chat when your connection went down in Vietnam that one time.
Well, let's keep rolling with what we got here.
They
All
rescued
right.
you from the Vietnam internet terrorists.
The sharks.
And that was canon. You declared that was canon afterwards.
So, what do you guys want to do? You've got this flower. You've got some semblance of a plan, I think.
Nope, not really. I just bought flour.
All right, you've got no plan whatsoever. What are you doing?
I say, well, we're going to make a plan. If we're going to hunt these men, then we need bait. We need something that they won't be able to resist pranking.
We need a shenanigans plan. If we take this flour, would you bake a cake with flour?
Yes, you need flour to make a cake.
Okay. If we start making a giant
With all
cake.
that flour, though, you're going to need a really big egg.
If you guys don't know what he's talking about, go watch the last episode of Shenanigans.
No,
I know just where to get one.
not dealing with it. We need a tank. I'm not doing it. All right. Well, simply put, I'm going to propose to Desmond that we start making a cake and then keep an eye out for when the prankster comes to mess with it.
All right, so what sort of cake thing are we talking? Are you just like making a cake?
A large cake for the entire bar.
Okay, so you're gonna make a cake
We can
for these.
we can say it's the special. We can get Desmond in on this. Say it's a special Shenanigans anniversary party. That this will be the big cake that will be the centerpiece of the whole event.
All right.
So the prankster will definitely want to do something about this.
Okay, now before you talk to Desmond, I want to see you guys work out your plan in some detail, so it's not like we get halfway through the plan and you guys are like, but Neal, we totally would have done this, or that, right? So
Isn't that what we were doing when you interrupted us to tell us we weren't doing that?
So, but what is the plan? Because all I've heard right now is like, let's bake a cake.
Well,
How do you catch the?
That's the plan, Neal.
Plan making.
What? Okay, so what's the next part of the plan? What happens next?
We're getting to that. We're working on it. We're figuring it out.
Okay.
So make this cake, or we have say Borscht working on it. So, wonder how long this rope will work. We can set that by the back door. Who else? Does anybody go through the back door normally, or just Gliblob?
The back door just goes into that alleyway, so it's pretty much like people who are going to the bathroom. The back door doesn't get a lot of use. The supplies get brought in through the kitchen door. That back door is very rarely used. I hope that works with your plan.
Which means it would be tempting for the pranksters to use to try to sneak in.
Perhaps then, while the cake is being worked on, I sit with my bag of flour, at least a portion of the bag of flour. I already have a mini bag of flour on my belly. And
we should get a net.
Keep a very sharp eye out, just like from the roof, waiting for something, to pop up, something goes awry, and be able to start chucking flour to reveal whatever's there.
Your invisibility lasts for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So if you could make me unseen, I could watch the back entrance. I could have a net to cast over anything invisible.
All right.
Since that would be the easiest way to get an entire area rather than to target something I can't see.
Right. All right, so we wait for him to attempt to mess with the cake. What we should do is have perhaps festivities going on in the bar while the cake is being baked, and have Borscht come out of the kitchen, seemingly leaving it unattended, making a big point of calling him out and having him, greet the bar as, the cook and just celebrating the shenanigans in general. And while it's unattended, make it, because we made it a big deal that it's unattended, we wait for him to open up the door and go in to mess with the cake.
Okay. So the plan is, if I'm understanding this correctly, get Borscht to make a cake, promote it as a big shenanigans celebration, biggest, best cake ever, and then wait for someone to come mess with the cake.
It's the centerpiece of your anniversary.
Right.
Once it's made very obvious that Borscht, the main cook, is called out of the kitchen.
Okay, so let's take a look at the shenanigans.
He could even randomly threaten people. If any of you disturb my cake and make it fall, I'm gonna hit you with my axe or whatever. I don't know.
Sure. So let's take a look at shenanigans itself. This is the shape of the bar. This over here is the kitchen. This is where Borscht would be doing his cooking for the cake. And then here's our front door, and here's our back door. Here's our staircase. Here's the kitchen. So the idea is that Rob is going to sit invisible on the roof, waiting to drop a net down on the doorway?
I guess, because the upstairs is like that,
actually,
right? So he'd have the overhang.
I could just be back by the doorway, keep an eye on things. And actually here to double down, so how does invisibility work if, say, you had a jug of wine and you cast the invisibility on the wine?
Invisibility can only target creatures. It cannot target objects.
Really?
I was surprised to find this too, but yes, the invisibility spell's target is one creature. You cannot, turn a bed invisible, for example. I looked into that. That was totally going to be my first prank, is you come into your bedroom and have no bed around to sleep in. And they just have you, walk around until you literally walk into the bed and hit your knee on it, and then roll, D2 for damage.
That
was the plan, but invisibility only targets creatures.
Neal, you could knock me out with that.
If you
stub your toe and pass out.
Invisible, and then bleed it out, is the blood still invisible?
Anything that
Well, Rob, why don't you test it on something?
All right. I mean, surely he's get some pig or goose or something is going to get slaughtered for food at here, right?
So, but you only have so many invisible spells. Are you going to use your only invisible spell to test out whether or not an animal's
He's
blood?
got a number of them. Here is my thought. I wanted to get an invisible.
I've got one for today, bro.
Well, listen to my thought. I wanted to get an invisible but strongly scented liquid that Figaro could track. With the invisible liquid poured at the back, even if the net thing fails, but the person would walk through it, and then a scent, like in this case, an animal blood would be something that a bloodhound would very well track. And the person wouldn't even realize they'd stepped in it and were now scented.
Till they have wet shoes.
Are they going to notice that?
If it's strongly scented, wouldn't they notice a strange smell from the area?
Not strongly scented to a person, but to a bloodhound.
Then let me ask you this.
A human wouldn't normally smell the blood that was spilled on the floor in a puddle.
Let me ask you this. Does that blood or whatever it is need to be invisible?
Neal, if you were invisible, would you willingly walk through a puddle of blood?
Yeah, the point is for them to be marked without realizing they're marked.
Right. Well, you can't turn blood invisible separately. You can't, create an invisible puddle of water. Not with the invisibility spell.
That's why I was saying if we, say, cast invisibility on a goose and then slit the goose's throat and leave it to bleed
anything
out,
that leaves an
collect the blood
invisible
from the goose, is the blood still invisible?
anything that leaves an invisible creature is immediately turned visible.
But it's part of the creature. It hasn't left the creature. It is the creature. If you took something out of the creature's pocket, but the blood is the creature.
You're getting into a very deep level of philosophy here. All I'm going to say is that you'll have to test it to find out the answer. And if you test it out today and it doesn't work, then, you might want to wait on setting this whole plan in motion. Or maybe, I don't know, I don't want to tell you how to run your campaign here.
Actually, it might be more prudent, or not prudent, I don't know words. It might be more appropriate to wait until tomorrow, have Desmond start announcing that we're doing an anniversary party tomorrow. That way it's well known.
And another possibility, I suppose, given that if the back door goes to the kitchen, right?
Oh, the kitchen door goes to the kitchen. The back door just goes into the bar.
Okay,
right?
But isn't it sort of near the kitchen, though?
Look at Roll20. I have the map. You should be on the map page for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Food smells, when it comes down to it, would be fairly expected.
Although...
So if we rubbed garlic all over the floor, and then the person stepped in the garlic and got it on their feet, but would get some bit of the scent, if that would be enough for the bloodhound to follow the strong garlic scent.
Hold on. Can you get a liquid from garlic?
You could extract the garlic into some sort of liquid, probably into a fatty liquid. If you chopped up the garlic nice and fine and cooked it in butter, the butter would get infused with a garlic scent to it. Sure.
I was thinking just mix a water or something with some sort of garlic liquid and have it as a little puddle just outside the thing, so it looks just like a normal puddle, just water that somebody threw outside, or even mix beer, just it looks like a random spilled beer puddle.
Okay.
That would possibly let them walk into it, and you'd be able to distinguish it from other beers by the garlic scent to it.
Is that your plan?
Mm.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, that as a backup for the whole net thing. If that fails, if I fail to notice the person, at least we'll be able to try to track them afterwards.
So I guess we just work on making garlic liquid?
Yes, with the garlic press.
With... Neal, I'm going to have to add like a vial of garlic liquid to my inventory, because I'm going to wind up making gallons of that stuff, and it's going to stink to high hell.
Okay, you're gonna make gallons of garlic liquid, which is going to stink up everything.
No, I'm just taking a few vial for future use.
Or make it all taste better.
Right. But I'm just saying, if you've got like gallons of garlic smelling things, and then you're gonna use that to try and track a creature, it might mess up the Bloodhound's tracking system when like the bar is the strongest smelling garlic in the area.
No. Like, while we're making the little bit we're going to put in the puddle, I'm just going to vial a little...
Okay, sure.
A little bit of it. Well, I'm not metamorphizing liquids, gallons of garlic now.
So my question is, where are you doing all this planning and all of this, like, garlic liquid preparation stuff? Are you doing that in Shenanigans? You don't really have a home to do it in. Where are you doing your prep? Are you concerned at all that the prankster might be in the bar right now trying to overhear your plans? Is that a possibility, or is that ridiculous?
I think,
How secret are you going?
I think I'm going to plan it as quietly as possible with him. Possibly go into the kitchen and spritz a little flour all over the place to, see if any lands on him.
Okay, so...
And then quietly talk.
All right, but so far you guys have just discussed your plan. So now you're going to tell Desmond about the plan and then go into the kitchen and prep this stuff, is what you're saying.
Yeah, just make sure no one's in there by flouring.
Invisible nearby.
All right.
And then whisper.
So,
when we tell Desmond.
So let's start this. You have your flour, you've come back into the bar, you've sat in your corner quietly and discussed this plan. Now it's time to unfold the plan. First step is talking to Desmond, right? Getting him on board.
First step, while we're at the table, I start flouring.
Okay. You toss flour
We
around.
can go down into his wine cellar, flour that, make sure there's no invisible people, and then close the door. The wine cellar's canon.
Yeah, it's a beer cellar. But yeah.
Yes.
Ale cellar. So you find Desmond, he's at the bar, he's washing out a glass, he sees the two of you coming over. He's seeing you like tossing flour all over the place. Gives you a nod of approval, instantly understanding what you're doing. And leans in over the bar. So you figure out how to solve this yet?
Well, I think we need a celebration.
A party?
Let's discuss somewhere else.
Let us go select a suitable vintage.
Follow me. He opens the cellar, which is a trap door, lets you guys walk down and closes it behind him, and like pushes a little bar across to lock it from the inside. Gives and some lanterns flip on in the cellar.
Flour everything.
The clapper, seriously?
He sighs as you start throwing flour all over the place and says, I appreciate your attention to detail, but this has been locked, and now everything's covered in flour. All right, it's fine. Better safe than sorry. You're right. God. Yes, there's nothing. You're pretty certain there's nothing invisible in here. It would have to be extremely dexterous to like avoid all the flour bombs and then not disturb the stuff lying around on the ground. And it's well lit, so probably would have noticed like flour stirring somewhere.
All right. So we inform him of the plan. We want to make first a garlic liquid to mix with some beer, and then spill that right outside the door of the kitchen.
That will allow
That's
us
the first step. Then I
track.
Then I
Allow my dog to
invisible this guy with a net
Mhm.
will be like around that door, probably on the roof. I'd like to say you're on the roof. That way you're not stepping in the garlic.
Well, I was thinking if I was somewhere outside the back
that-
door, I might have better visibility.
There's
And
a
if I'm
tree
on the roof.
outside. You could hide in the tree.
Yeah,
I'd be
so I've
able
heard
to
that
do
tree
that.
notices things.
Tree here.
But then you announce that it's the anniversary celebration of Shenanigans. And that with all this flour I bought, you are going to have a party and bake a cake. Or have Borscht bake a cake. For the bar and everyone inside. That
Mhm.
way we can have a big noticeable celebration that will be likely to attract him. Get the word out now so that he can be ready for whatever prank he's going to try to pull tomorrow. Make a big deal of the cake being the centerpiece of the party. Nice big cake.
Mhm.
Then, at some point while the cake is baking, call Borscht out of the kitchen just to, as you're celebrating all the great things about this bar, call him out and, just give a speech to him. That way, the trickster knows that's his time to mess with the cake. He's obviously going to be waiting for a good time to mess with it. And that's why we have the puddle of garlic outside the back door so that his dog can track it and hopefully have him ready with a net. Somewhere near the back door to catch him.
Question. What if the prankster doesn't prank the cake directly? Like, what if magic is ranged, right? Or what if instead of pranking the cake, they prank Borscht? Or what if they use that, what if the cake doesn't end up being their objective?
Right, that's why this is just an attempt. We are trying. It's the best shot we've thought of to catch this guy. That's why we need you to make a big deal about having a special cake made for the event.
All right.
So that it really draws the attention to the cake.
And maybe you warn people if anybody messes with this cake, or maybe Borscht could warn people that he's making a cake, and if anybody messes with the cake, they're going to have words with him, or he's going to deal with them, so that to make the cake a tempting target, a challenge.
And I, during this, will be at the front door looking very suspiciously, keeping an eye out, so that it looks like we're, have active security, but that's not actually our main security objective.
I see. The old 1-2 punch, secure the areas that you don't want that person to go, so they'll go right into your trap.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond nods. Okay. What's the type of party that we're throwing? Is it someone's birthday?
The anniversary of Shenanigans. However many
Anniversary
make
and
up a number,
celebration of
nobody
the
here
bar.
could count anyways.
Or you could just say you want to celebrate how great the bar is and how thankful you are to the entire town and the people
No
around
one will
it.
buy that.
I got a plan. Why don't we say it's Borsch's birthday, and we don't tell him about the plan, and then he'll really want to keep the cake safe. Borsch is a little
Could. Yeah, that would.
thick-headed. You know, you tell him that this is a prank or this is a trap, and he'll tell his buddies that he's setting up a trap. He's not the greatest actor, you know.
Mm.
And Borsch doesn't know
in
when his
that case,
birthday is, so we'll tell him it's Borsch's birthday.
That would work. That would work better. That would give him a even better reason to come out of the kitchen and speak with the crowd.
Excellent. Desmond nods approvingly. All right, tomorrow, I'll announce it today. Tomorrow's the party.
Right.
Excellent.
It's going to take him a while to bake such a big cake, right?
I don't know. He's never made a cake before. He's not much of a baker. I don't know what an orcish cake would look like. I can't imagine it would take more than a day. He's not a very patient man.
All right. I just wanted a little bit of time to run.
Yeah.
Errand.
God, I hope they ruin the cake. I really don't want to eat whatever Borsch's birthday cake is going to look like.
Yeah.
Maybe let
It's
them
probably
ruin
gonna
it
have
and
a
then...
lot of meat.
Yeah, maybe ruin it and then catch him? Or let them ruin it and then catch them?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Good plan.
Okay.
And he heads out of the cellar, back upstairs, and I think we're going to take our we're going to take another break. I've lost track of breaks since we didn't start exactly on time, and we'll see you guys...
Second break. It's
Second
pretty long
break.
session.
We'll see you guys in our
Second breakfast.
third section of Shenanigans for the deployment of the plan. See you guys on the
Yeah,
other
right.
side.